Greetings, welcome, anchored men. What a joy to have you again. When should you not get married? By the way, have you ever thought about it? Under what circumstances should you, not my time to get married? Today I'm going to take the next few minutes to tell you circumstances under which you should not get married. Otherwise, you'll be setting yourself up for failure. My name is Precious Cole and you're watching The Anchored Man right here on CITAM ChurchOnline. When not to get married speaks of motivation. What are some of the motivations that are leading you to look for a girl or to look for a man to get married? If you haven't defined your motivation, that actually will determine your happiness index, if I would say, in marriage. Now, a lot of us get married for the wrong reason, and I'm going to share some of those reasons today. Number one, don't get married simply because you want to have sex. Yes, indeed, God has told us the confines for practicing sex is in the context of marriage. But if you make that your number one motivation for going to get married, you will miss out on very critical aspects of a relationship or foundational pillars that will keep your marriage going. It is not entirely sex that keeps a marriage going. If your motivation is sex, chances are you'll be drawn to the curves a woman has. You'll be drawn to how they make you feel. You'll be drawn to their skin color. Sinizo ndo vitu to excite kama wanaume. You'll be drawn to the shape of their body. That's what draws you. But that's not what will keep the marriage. It's not the curves that keep the marriage. It's not the beards. For those of you that get ish when you see the beards, it's not even the biceps that keep marriage. It will need something more. In fact, when you get married, some of those things that attracted you about her will start to annoy you. You know, if it was the beard, atakuwa nakuguza na hiyo beard, you get ached. So don't get married just because you want to have sex and you found that I can't keep myself, I can't control myself. The gift of self-control is for us. There needs to be something more than just sex. Number two, don't get married because you want to kill boredom or loneliness. As I said in our earlier video, marriage doesn't fix your boredom. It doesn't fix your loneliness. It's not that hobby you bring in when you want to pass time. You'll realize as you get to marriage, it is so much of a commitment. There is a lot of work to do. In fact, when I was planning to get married in one of our premarital counseling classes with a mentor couple we work with, and the man, is called Refrain, pulled me aside and he told me, by the way, ndoa ni kazi na kama utaki kufanya kazi kana mama yako. He told me that. He said, if you don't want to work, rudi kwenu ukae na mama yako. Because it's involving you, soil your work. You don't just go there to, now I'm killing boredom, I'm passing time. Nobody can fix that. Nobody can fix boredom for you. That's your own work. So don't get married if your motivation is to kill boredom or loneliness. Fix that before, because it's possible even in marriage to still feel lonely. Number three, don't get married because you're looking for someone to do the house chores for you. Don't get married because you're looking for someone to wash your dishes, to cook your meals, to make the bed for you. You know, for women, someone to pay the bill, someone to fix the bulbs, someone to pay the rent, and so on and so forth. Don't. Because let me tell you, it's possible that you get married. One of the possibilities that can happen in marriage is someone can be crippled down with a disease, for instance. What happens? What happens if your wife develops a complication and now her hands are numb? She can't use her hands. Will you now not eat because she can't go to the kitchen? What happens? What happens when she loses the most valuable part of her body that you like most? Will you stop loving her now? Will you stop loving her because she can't stand the smell of onions in those seasons of pregnancies, for instance? You see, don't just get married because you're looking for someone to do house chores. You cannot reduce your partner to a fulfiller or you can't do that. You cannot. It needs to be something beyond that. And this is going to be a difficult conversation for us to have in our day and time, because a lot of us are trying to do marriage in our present day with the idea of marriage in the days of our parents. And we are worlds apart. Some compromise have to be arrived at. Some negotiations must be made. At some point, chores will be shared between the two of you. So don't just get married because you're looking for someone to clean the house for you. You can as well employ Mama Fua or Baba Fua, or you can as well invite someone to come and cook for an entire week, keep it in the refrigerator. But it needs to be more than just your food needs and your house chores and so on and so forth. Don't get married, number 4, if you are not ready for accountability. Now, this one is fire. you don't do marriage without accountability. Now, if you're not ready to be asked the tough questions, don't get married. If you're not ready to account for every single minute of your day, don't get married. Don't get married if you're going to tell someone where I go is my business. When you bring them to your level, when you bring them to your space, it ceases to just be your business. It's also their business. So don't get married if you're not ready to say where you were that evening and why they couldn't find you on phone. Don't just say, yo, it's my life. No, it's not your life. It's the two of you. So if you're not ready for accountability, if you're not ready to be open about your friends, if you're not ready to be open about the business you do, don't get married. Because you're going to frustrate someone else vibaya too. So don't get married if you're not ready and willing to say how you make your money. Don't get married if you're not willing to come up about, to be open about your struggles, your sinful struggles for that matter. Don't get married. Accountability is big in marriage. Don't get married if you're not ready to be accountable. There are many. And lastly, don't get married just because you've reached that age. Now, this one is a problem to many of us. There are a lot of us who are feeling frustrated because the society tells us, ukianza kufika 25 to 30, start looking around. Sometimes that's not how it works. And sometimes God might have different plans with us in our lives. Don't get married out of that pressure that if I get to 30 and I've not yet found someone, I'll do all that I need to do, including even trapping someone with a pregnancy. Don't do that. It's not the age. Now that I'm married, I can comfortably tell you for sure, there is no one on this other end with a notebook waiting to reward those who get married before 20 or 25 or 30. There's no reward. Absolutely no reward. Now, it's difficult for me to say this because now I'm married, because you'll say, you're saying that because you've already crossed over. Now I can even speak with some boldness, having experienced life on this other end. There's no reward for those that get married below 20 or below 30, and so on and so forth. So your life, God's space, that's where the fulfillment is. So join me on the other video as we look at yet another important thing for us to know and consider as we build up towards marriage. Thank you always for watching The Anchored Man. My name is Precious Cole.